We are live. Gerard Michaels here, the great Mickey Gall to my right. King Gooner, Christian Perello over there in the podcast booth. TelyRx.com, that's TelyRx.com, for all of your healthcare needs. You don't need to go to the doctor. You don't need to go to the pharmacist. It's the doctor, it's the pharmacist, all in one place, and it's mailed directly to your door. And if you use code SNT, you save 20%. TelyRx.com, code SNT. Now, I'd love to talk to you about sports, Mick, but this is July 3rd. There are no sports. There's only baseball, the dog days of summer. U.S. men's national team has bowed out of Copa America, if you're into that whole soccer thing. And there's, I guess there was a big MMA fight over the weekend. That was cool.
Yeah. Well, MMA is year-round, and baseball, it's about to be the trade deadline, huh?
Yeah.
When is the driest time where there's, almost nothing?
Well, I feel like February is the worst month for sports.
But then all you have is you got hockey and basketball?
You got regular season hockey and basketball.
Right.
You know, the end of it.
They're both regular season.
Yeah, and now you got regular season baseball. This is what we would call the dog days of summer. This is when the guys that were playing, don't even want to be playing. This is okay, let's get through July. Right. Let's get to the trade deadline.
The dog days of anything is just kind of where you're getting to the even in February, NBA and NHL. That's kind of the dog days of their season.
And dude, I've talked about this with you before. I spent my whole life wanting to be a pro baseball player. I loved it. I slept in my uniform. I would loved it. And my first year in the minor leagues, we got to July and we were 100 games in, and I was like, oh my God, how much more do we have to go here? Oh my, there's another 45 games.
Is that what it is in
minor leagues? 145.
And what's in the MLB?
162.
162.
162. Yeah. 6 days a week for 6 months.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. And the Yankees are pumping along, but right now, it's guys are just trying, like you said, to get to the trade deadline. Who is gonna be good enough to be in the hunt so they don't have to be traded?
Yanks make any moves?
What's up?
Did the Yanks make any moves that you're aware of? I saw something. I was in the gym the other day. I saw something on the TV.
They're calling guys up. They've got a lot of injuries. This is the time of year where there's a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Guys are starting to wear out, especially now that we are not in the performance enhancement age anymore. Guys don't have the same.
Right. How strictly are they testing these guys? That's
a great question. We have a mutual friend who thinks that there are guys absolutely getting away with it now.
Yeah.
But they're much smarter. They're doing testosterone lozenges that are synthesized from their own testosterone. So they don't
lozenges?
Pop. Yeah.
I always thought it was lozenger.
Is it I think it's a lozenge.
No, it is. But it ends in an E, but it doesn't feel complete.
Yeah, so the theory behind it is that you have an acceptable level of testosterone you're allowed to be at.
Right.
So they just max out that acceptable level.
Yeah. You can't be over 10,000.
Yeah, I know that if I'm coming up in the next inning and it takes my body 30 minutes to metabolize this thing, I just go ahead and pop one of these test Altoids.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what A-Rod was doing back in the day, right? He'd eat a gummy in
is that what it was?
The first, third, and seventh inning.
See, I thought that they were doing the clear. They were rubbing the stuff on their hands.
Gummies.
Was he eating gummies?
He was eating
no shit. So this has been around for a long time then.
Yeah.
The Balco guys had this stuff all figured out.
Yeah, that was Balco.
They had this stuff locked. That's
the
whole
Conti?
point. Yeah.
Was that dude's name?
It's the whole point of Moneyball that nobody ever talks about.
Isn't he busting people? Didn't they they get him to
get out of here? He's doing the Catch Me If You Can.
I'm pretty sure he's the Catch Me If You Can. It's a very popular thing. Obviously, that's in the Leo movie Catch Me If You Can. He was what would you call him? He's a con artist, scammer.
Confidence man. He was like a fraud, like a professional scammer.
And then he was showing the FBI what they do. I have a good friend who's was a computer hacker, who then got paid by the White House to come on board.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah. Show us what you're doing.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And so I think Conti's the same thing.
I guess the lesson there is if you're going to be bad, be good at being bad.
Yeah, fucking A, right?
You better be good at being bad.
Yeah, they'll give you a big bag of money to do it the other way.
So since sports, and I do want to talk a little bit about soccer later on, believe it or not. But
really?
I do.
Did the U.S. win yet?
No, they lost.
They lost?
Yeah. Since sports is a little down right now, I'd love to start us with an unbelievable story of Nicholas Chitwood. Nicholas Chitwood, 8 years old, out of Michigan, saves his 6-year-old sister from a vicious dog attack that could have been fatal. No. This is brand new. This is brand new. Published July 3rd, 2024.
That's
Nicholas
today.
and Lillian were in their grandparents' backyard in Saginaw, Michigan, when the dog next door, a pit bull, allegedly got through the neighbor's fence and made it into the backyard where the two children were playing. Once again, 8 and 6 years old. They didn't know the dog. This is like the worst case scenario if you're a kid. We had a crazy dog next door, and it was almost like the movie The Sandlot. Anytime we'd hit a wiffle ball over there, it's like, well, that's where it lives now.
Yeah.
Game's over for the day.
What was that, Zeus in the Sandlot?
Yeah, but this dog actually did end up having to get put down. This dog was crazy. It didn't stop running. It was a Rottweiler, and it would run so much around the fence when we were out there that it ended up digging out a like a warning track. It would just sprint back and forth, just like staring at us.
Nice.
And it wasn't playful. The tail wasn't wagging. And then what ended up happening was,
that dog wanted to bite the shit.
Dude,
out
dog
of you
wanted to
guys.
get us, and he started being able to like get
Or at
his
least he
nose
did
under
when
the
he was
fence.
behind there. If you got face to face, it could always be a different story.
Oh no.
You never know though.
No, it bit the mother of the house, and then
The mother
of the house it was living in, our next door neighbor, who was a great guy, and he just wanted this beautiful Rottweiler. They actually like imported this dog from Germany. Spent like $3,000 on his dog back in the '90s, and this dog was
vicious.
This was.
I bet no one broke in there though.
No, nobody broke in. No, nobody even like we would knock on the door to like, hey, can you go get the wiffle ball? And the daughter that lived next door was like, you gotta wait for my dad to come home.
Yeah, I can go in there. That
It was
rock.
exactly like that. So this 6-year-old girl, she has several bites on her neck that were 3 centimeters away from severing the artery in her neck. These pit bulls are just bred to go for that neck, man. I love pit bulls. She also had her left eyelid
Well, it's
repaired.
not bred to go for little girls' necks.
Yeah, she needed sutures.
Bred to go for
and she
pit bulls'
unfortunately
necks.
suffered extensive nerve damage in her face. That poor little 6-year-old. Nicholas stepped in to protect his little sister when he heard.
Stepped in?
Nicholas stepped in to protect his little sister when he heard her scream. He jumped on the dog, 8 years old. He jumped on the dog and pulled it off of her and continued to kick it until her grandpa was finally able to come help.
Hell yeah.
He was just trying to save his sister. He heard her let out a scream, and he jumped into action. Scroll down and look at this poor girl's face. Oh, this poor girl. I hope she has a full recovery. There's an uncensored picture at the bottom. Please move your... you probably have to kick. You probably have to click read more there to get above. Go up. Go
Good
up.
for the brother. That's what the brother's supposed to do.
So I want to give a huge shout out to Nicholas Chitwood of Saginaw, Michigan, 8 years old, fighting off a pit bull for his sister. And if you would like to help them, they have a GoFundMe called Support for Brave Little Girls Recovery Journey. If you go on GoFundMe, if you go on this New York Post page, there is a link to support her. And I got to tell you, that's the G of the week right there.
Yeah.
8 years old, a pit bull.
Look, I agree.
But
of course.
Of course.
Yeah, you're an older brother. I'm an older brother.
100%.
You're going to sit there and be like, stop. Nah, you're going to you're going to kill that dog.
100%.
You're going to you're going to let yourself get bit before you let your fucking.
But
so you're not saying that he, did anything wrong, but I'm saying, I think, that, like, yeah, fuck yeah.
I'm always talking about bad news. I'm always complaining. Let me tell you something. I see, but it's not always true that way, buddy. Remember the guy, I think it was right here in Florida, who the kid was getting attacked by a freaking tiger shark, and the dad was frozen on the beach, and the uncle,
dad's a bitch.
the uncle ran into the ocean, pulled the tiger shark out, killed the tiger shark, got his nephew's arm out of its mouth, and they were able to reattach
Yeah, I heard
the arm.
about that.
Remember that?
Yeah. That uncle should now be that boy's father. Like, seriously.
He at least gets a weekend with the mom. He at least gets at least a weekend with the mom.
I hope he's the one. I hope he's the real father.
It was his son the whole time.
Yeah.
And the dad put the shark up to it. Was like, I knew it.
Yeah, I'm gonna see how you're gonna act.
Yeah, let's see.
You saved him?
You jumped right in, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't even hesitate, huh?
Yeah.
That's some real
That's
Tywin
some
Lannister
low-ass
shit right there.
testosterone dad shit that he didn't go out in there.
He didn't know what was happening. Some people
all right,
freeze.
well, all right. You say he didn't know what's happening. If he was
Freeze.
like, oh, that's a weird. All right. So yeah, fight, flight, or freeze. Yeah, that you gotta. I don't agree. I think what your instincts have to be, if you're a fucking masculine man, your instincts have to be to protect anyone who's weaker than you, especially a fucking sister or a son or a daughter or something like that. Like, yeah.
See,
if you were getting attacked by a pit bull, I would, you're a big fucking dude. But I'm gonna be sticking my finger up that pit bull's ass. I'm gonna be poking it in both its eyes. I'm gonna be kicking it in his chin. Like, I'm gonna penetrate that pit bull, and not just because I want to penetrate pit bulls.
Although that is a fun little plus.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm gonna test out a few theories of mine.
This is the
few
martial
things that keep me awake at night.
This is the martial arts mind at work right here. Walks into a room and says, "Okay, well, I need to stick my thumbs up that guy's ass if this thing goes sideways. There's an exit over there. That pit bull right there has at least
You're discussing ocular pat downs. You're discussing the process of ocular pat downs, which I don't usually like to talk about with civilians, but yeah,
Fair enough.
It goes like that.
Fair
you know
enough.
What I mean?
You go in there and you're like
I don't want to bring this dark world into people are just trying to have a good time listening to the podcast.
You just scan the room and you're like the Terminator. You're like, okay, areas of entry: eyeballs, earlobes, assholes.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
I'm attacking the eyeballs and the testicles first. The eyeballs are the testicles of the face.
I think Freud said that.
They're weak. Someone brilliant did. They're weak. You know what I mean? There's a reason. I'm gonna use things that are illegal in MMA. There's a reason why it's illegal. I'm going eyeball poke, nut. Right? Yeah. No, you know what I'll do? I'll go fucking nuts first. With it because it's like a long range weapon. I can use my foot and kind of punt it in there. Then I'm going uppercut to the eyes.
Oof.
And then I'm going back of the head, down elbow, because that's lethal and deadly, and we all know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Down elbow to the back of the head. Did you see those dudes break bricks with it back in the day?
100%.
That's why it's illegal in MMA, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it could break bricks, imagine what it would do to your freaking bones, bro.
Yeah. I've seen guys rip through wood with that thing. Multiple planks.
Whoa.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it's just hardcore, bro. So, yeah thank God they're protecting people.
Speaking of hardcore, your boy Awesome comes on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Shows us a syringe, and the next thing you know...
Next thing you know, he's choking people out. You see that, Christian?
During karate combat. That, in fairness to Awesome, that trainer was way out of line. Way out of line, man.
Choking him out was probably the right move.
Yeah.
You know, it's embarrassing to the guy, but the guy put himself in a position to get embarrassed.
Yeah.
He was looking to like fight another guy. But you know what I did here? I heard they're not like banning this dude or anything from like they've invited him back, like you know what I mean, like trying to take the high road.
Oh, that's cool.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you pull that clip up real quick? Well, we'll talk about it with Homeboy, but let's see. So this dude gets pissed off.
So what's the lead up? I've seen this.
I
but
guess
what's the
he's
lead
mad.
up?
He's mad about. He wants to fight his fighter's opponent now. Like, look at the way he's charging. Like, he's ready for action. He's coming in hot. He's trying to do some shit. And then, they're going to break it up. And Awesome gets behind him, puts in that rear naked choke. And then, after we've seen how it works. After a few seconds, they're ready to go to sleep.
Subdued.
So you probably drop him right about now. Homeboy's out. Right? Did you let him go? Now, what I like, talking about taking the high road from Awesome, I like how he hops to the high ground right now, too. Good move. See, he gets up on top. He's like, all right, is this guy got any friends coming at me? Goes and gets that. That's the better terrain, man. Sun Tzu talks about that. You got to get to the high ground right there. It's a good move.
Would have been a great opportunity to drop an elbow from up there and just go ahead and finish it. Get that 3 count.
It would have been a little bit of beating a dead horse, but you're right. It would have been a lit clip. It would have been really funny, for us now if he did that. It would have been hilarious. Probably not for his, business and job, but yeah. It would have been great.
Yeah, probably not. But hey, got a lot of views. Karate Combat on the international radar.
Yeah. It's good stuff, man.
And then crazy knockout too in that event. Switch kick. What was that? That was like a jumping switch kick.
Switch kick knocked out Vic.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who did it, Christian? I know you're a fan of him.
It was Rafael Alves.
Rafael? Was it Raf or Hoff?
They're both UFC.
Rafael Alves?
They're both UFC vets.
That was a hell of a
James
switch
Vick
kick.
and
That was very impressive. Switch kick to the dome there.
yeah,
The old right-left.
yeah, it was beautiful.
Little
Beautiful. To the leg, act like one to the leg. Bring the hands down a little bit and boom. Speaking of which, that was the thing with Pereira and Yuri this weekend, the main event of UFC 303. They said, my buddy Plinio's the big, heavy guy, makes G look slim.
I am slim.
My boy Plinio, always see him in Pereira's corner. You can't miss him. But he was saying they saw that when he would check his leg kicks, he'd bring his hands down. So after throwing a few in the first round, they opened up with one to the head. Now I wonder if, because he threw a switch, so I wonder if that was to give time, like the switch in the feet was to give time for the hands to come down and the leg to come up. But Yuri does fight with his hands down a lot. But if every time like you have a tell like that and they exploit it on the pre-fight tape, like in the locker room, I think that's what they said. They saw that and were like, you know what, we could look low and head kick this motherfucker.
Wow.
And boom, got the Pereira's like, now here's the thing.
He's on a heater, boy.
He's on a heater, boy. They're talking about him going to heavyweight. I don't think they do that yet. I think he brings back some life to 205, makes 205 sexy again. Remember 205 back in the day with John Jones?
Yeah.
But then you go back, John Jones, Gustafson, Poirier, Rumble Johnson, or not Poirier, Cormier.
Yep.
And then you go back and you got
was Hendo light heavy?
I think
at the end?
maybe at the end. He was 85 mostly.
Okay.
But then, before that you had Chuck, you had Tito, those type of guys,
Sure.
Rampage, Vanderlei.
Yep.
And it's been a little stale lately.
Couture
You had like
Couture
you've had Jan, who I like Jan Blachowicz, but he's not it's just not the sexiest of divisions as of late. But he's bringing it back there. So I think they could build up a few guys there who, if they go to war with Pereira, and then you let him go up to heavyweight and fight like a John Jones, and boy, he beats John Jones, he becomes the fucking GOAT.
Wow.
I mean, right?
Wow.
It's hard because it's a smaller sample size. He doesn't have the body of work that a lot of these guys have. Because what's he like 10-2? Christian? You don't know Alex Pereira's record offhand?
I think it is 10-2. I think you're right.
Come on, I was trying to stall for him to have the answer.
So in the GOAT conversation, is Anderson Silva not in that conversation anymore? Is he been moved
No, he
out?
should be in that conversation. But I think people there are a little bit of what have we seen lately?
Bias?
There's recency bias. What have you done lately?
Yeah.
And they see people who stay long in the sport, and which I don't hate on, because you want to squeeze every part of yourself, and even if you're not as fast and not as good at what you are, your game has to evolve certain ways, and you have to use different things.
That's the argument against GSP people make, right? That he kind of got out early, and then you had Khabib.
Well, I'd say Khabib is a get out early guy, because he doesn't have like the defenses like a guy like GSP has.
Does Conor have any place in that conversation?
I think if you could do that, like a window for Conor, like when Conor beat Aldo and beat Eddie Alvarez, the way he did that was spectacular. But I think it's you got to go over the body of work, and that's kind of why I go John Jones and GSP as those guys.
And you're saying Pereira's 2-3 fights away from being there for you?
I'm saying if he can skyrocket to the top on a right now, he's
11-2, by the way.
11-2. Besides for Conor, he's probably the biggest star in the sport
right now, for sure.
Right now, right?
Well, John Jones, but he's just never around.
Yeah, but exactly, that's the problem. You know what I mean? It either got picograms or hit and runs or hurt his shoulder now. But I think I think Pereira is a huge star, and I think if he were to beat a guy like John Jones, am I saying I think he would? No. But he could, and if he did, it would be something fucking crazy.
Why do you think guys like Demetrius Johnson or Kamaru Usman don't seem to get that?
Because they're black.
You think that's what it is?
No. Demetrius, I think because
Old black
he's small.
Like, this motherfucker's spitting.
Demetrius, because he's small. He's just he's very, very tiny. And I think people...
He's fighting the same 4 people over and over.
A little bit. I think he cleared out but that's because he cleared people out. He beat, he did beat a lot of different guys. I don't know. I'd say if, Now that you say it, Demetrius really, if I were to be like a true purist, I would probably I'd have to put him up there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think the smaller guys get that recognition because I think people are like, oh, look, he's only 5 foot tall. Like, I'd beat his ass. You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, bro, you wouldn't. Like, if that Bradley Martin, try. Please show us that. Let us have that. And, hey, if you do, congratulations. He won't. You won't.
You think okay, but let me ask you this. Do you think Demetrius, outside of scoring, do you think Demetrius Johnson could finish Bradley Martin?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Choke him? You think he's going to knock him out?
Choke him. He could. If Demetrius, I don't care how big homeboy's biceps are, Demetrius gets on that arm and he's gonna tear that thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if he's using his whole body and gets that thing after time, for sure.
Interesting. Because obviously he'd outpoint him very easily. He'd tire him out, outpoint him.
Right.
You think he could finish a guy who's literally twice his size?
Yeah, for sure. Especially in this scenario, Bradley Martin ain't. I don't think he's going 6 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I think by the end of 5 would be an accomplishment to make it 5 minutes with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of movement to keep up with at that lower level.
Yeah. Demetrius is lethal, man. People sleep on him, forget, and it just because it wasn't sexy enough. You know what I mean?
He made it look too easy. In some ways, his legacy takes a hit because of how good he was.
Exactly. People got to put some respect on his name. He's like a forgotten one too, for sure. And I even did it a little bit there, but I think he should be up on that GOAT list.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, I got a video right here of Demetrius Johnson fighting a guy that's 250.
Okay.
Now this is a fighter, or at least a jiu-jitsu competitor, jiu-jitsu fighter.
Is that a brown belt, Demetrius, too? So we're in opens, right?
Yeah, homeboy swinging him. Nice little shot. Keeping him off balance.
Wow.
Yeah, come on. Look at that flip.
Didn't pull guard.
Come on. Look at that little flip he hit. Nah. Let's go.
Ooh.
Look at him using his speed. Using his
Gator roll.
hips.
Wow. So if they're in opens, then that guy won his, or at least he medaled in his division, in his weight class.
Yeah.
So this is a brown belt who medaled in at heavyweight.
Oh, look at him. He's hanging off that neck like a necklace.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah.
He got the tap.
Out. Yeah. Now again, there's 2 factors in here. One, that guy's not trying to bash him and hit him.
Correct.
Jiu-jitsu's no strikes. But
no slams either.
Right, no slams. But that's also a trained fighter. You know what I mean?
A guy who at least medaled in his.
Who just competed that day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's damn impressive.
Yeah. So I got Demetrius over
Bradley Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard Logan lumped him up too.
Who?
I heard Logan made him quit.
Demetrius Martin?
Nah, not Demetrius Martin.
Who? Bradley Martin? Bradley,
legendary fighter.
Demetrius Martin. It's like one of those creative players you get.
Logan Paul lumped up Bradley Martin.
Dude, guys got to put respect on Logan Paul's name at this point. The guy has been training as a professional fighter for how many years now?
But I heard he made homeboy quit.
I believe it.
He said like enough. All right, enough.
If you've never boxed before, go do it. Just go spend a weekend and just see what it feels like to throw punches and be hit and keep your hands up for 3 whole minutes. Do 3-4 rounds and see what it feels like. Just light sparring, and then imagine somebody actually trying to finish you. It's next level stuff, man. It really is. It's something everybody should do.
I remember my first time like sparring, like I was like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? Like just your first time like doing that, like it's a little bit like scary. You know what I mean? Like think about it. Like this, someone's about to come over there and try and fucking hit you,
and they're yelling at you, "Get your hands up! Get your hands up!" And I'm like, my hands can't get any higher. And then you look at the video after, my hands were like down here the whole time. It's like, what do you mean? I thought my hands were up.
You know, it's actually funny. I think the first time I sparred ever was in boxing, and I was probably like 13 or so. Actually, I wasn't as worried then. But then when I did it at like 16 or 17, doing like Muay Thai, and I remember just like because I was sparring with kids. Now I'm in like 16, 17, but I got a grown man across from me, like big strong motherfucker coming at me, kind of like trying to come over here and hit me and fucking do shit. Like I remember that feeling. Yeah. Now it's and it's funny because like now it's like I could I have to like almost like get myself in that mindset for sparring. Like, sometimes I could go into sparring and if I wanted to just like fuck around, not a kill clip, but at almost any other gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So it's like a
you're a literal professional now.
Yeah, because you've done it so many times. But what I'm saying is I know that feeling, and I'm one up in what you're saying too. Like you're gonna get fucking scared if you're gonna go in there and do it. You haven't done it at all, and you'd be watching on TV, be like, I do this and that. All right, go try it.
Go do it.
Go try it.
Go do it
then. You can. It's a most fun way to work out. To go hit some pads, wrestle around. Learn some jiu-jitsu. You learn a functional skill, and you can learn how to incapacitate a human being. It's all of it's fun.
It is a lot of fun, but it's
When's the last time you trained?
It's been a while. I've been playing pickleball, weightlifting, doing a lot of the sauna there. It's been good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, LA Fitness is great over here, man. This is a great LA Fitness.
There's some really good things. I'm happy you're using the sauna.
Yeah.
I worry about your heart sometimes.
Thanks, buddy.
And
appreciate that.
Yeah, bless your heart.
Yeah.
But I think we let me see. I got a little clip. Maybe I could send it to Christian really quick, just on the benefits of the sauna. I got Tony Robbins talking about it. I fired it over to you, Christian. But like there's so many so many great things about it. I was doing it for a while. I was doing like I don't remember exactly what his like, what would you call that, like his recipe, so to speak, is. But while I was doing this, I would do 30 minutes in at like 180, which is fucking hot.
Yeah,
like hot. And then I would get out and I would cool my body down completely. So I'd get in like a cold shower. That part felt fucking good. That was the best part. And then I would get back in. I would do another 30 minutes. And the first 2-3 minutes of each session feel nice. Like if it's getting warm and all that shit, starting to sweat. And then the next 27 minutes suck. And then the 5-minute cool down is nice. And the rest of it sucks. So there's like 9 minutes of like enjoyment in that hour and 5 minutes.
You know what I've been finding? I do 15 minutes at the beginning of the workout now. And my whole body is loose.
Really?
Yeah, as opposed to like stretching, doing the dynamic warm-up, getting on the bike, for 10 minutes and like getting that sweat going. I literally am in the sauna for 15 minutes.
You're not moving around in there?
Not moving around at all. And I get out, dude, I am limber. I am ready to go.
My instinct is to tease you for being lazy.
No.
But, hey, if it's working for you.
Dude, I did it. I'll tell you how I started doing it. I did a big-time leg day, and I've been doing sprints outside, right? And I did legs. I did sprints. And then the next day, I went to play pickleball, and I couldn't really move. I was just too sore. So I was like, let me go work upper body at the gym. And I was so sore that I was like, fuck it. I can't. I'm bailing on the workout. Let me at least get in the sauna. And I went in the sauna for 15, and when I came out, no soreness at all. I was like, it was like it melted away. I was limber. And I'm like, man, maybe there's something to this here. And I don't know. I'm not a doctor. All I can do is be anecdotal here. So I've been starting all my workouts with 15 minutes in the sauna. And I'm telling you, I'm coming out, rocking and rolling, man.
15 minutes, that sounds like a good amount.
Rocking and rolling.
It's not too crazy. And especially at a gym sauna, it's probably not cranked up too much.
It's pretty hot, but it's not crazy.
Where you're going to really take it out of yourself.
And I'll do a half hour at the end. And so I guess it's, at the end of it, it's 45 minutes.
Going to do 45 altogether.
Yeah.
Ain't bad.
And the sprints are good. You feel those big time, man. But you talk about training, and one of the things that I don't like, and this is my whole ego, this is 100% ego. Candace is going to be so mad when she hears this, but they got a new American Top Team location right next to the gym. It's in the same building. And these guys come over like basically barefoot, and they just like take over the gym, and they walk around with their shoulders swinging and stuff like that. So now I feel like I almost have to sign up there and start rolling, because there's only so many times I can go on the bench press next to them bench pressing and throw up 450, just because I have to. But you got to see the way these guys walk around this gym. The way they walk around is like, okay. And the women are even worse. These women are yoked up, man. Very Brazilian. Very Brazilian. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about ego and all that. I unlike Candace, I don't think ego's the enemy and all that shit. I think an out of whack ego can be, but the ego is like, I think what it does to all people, in some way, it tells them like I'm better than someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So you throwing up that 450 to try and show them, they're like, yeah, but I'll choke his ass out.
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying. It's like, yeah, I'll go there and they won't choke me out. But it's just, it's like, yeah, all right, but I could fucking see my dick when I stand up for like something. You know what I mean? There's always going to be something 100%. Where someone's going to fucking say, like, have the next step to go.
Oh, well,
you know what I mean?
You've been there when it's happened.
It's men, but it's men, it's women, it's religion. 100%. A lot of religion. Like I think I have a Hasidic Jewish friend who told me that's like, oh yeah, most of it's just like we're like better than you. Like, we know the truth. You're going to hell. And
really?
We're not. Yeah,
that's what it's
like,
for.
Yeah, like that's like what it like. That's like what it like is kind of like the thing. It's like we're better than thing, and that I think that's all ego.
100%.
But I think if without ego, it's hard to aspire to things. If you don't think you're, and maybe ego is not the best word, but if you don't believe you're special, right?
Yeah.
Or that you're better than someone at something, whatever you shape that thing to be, I find it hard to believe you're gonna become something great.
This is the basis for all of Ayn Rand's philosophy and books. She made the same argument, and that their ego is not bad, pride is not bad. That is the defining and driving factor of human greatness. Is that competition, and without ego, there is no competition. So I totally get that, man, and I feel the same way. The workouts, and maybe this is a deficit of mine, but my workouts are way better than people are watching. And you're 100% right. You've been there with me when I tapped out a black belt, and immediately, what's the first thing they ask? Well, how much do you weigh, bro?
Right. Yeah.
I thought it wasn't supposed to matter.
I was rolling with Rob from the gym the other day, and we were just like flow rolling, and like I don't remember what happened, but he was like, I think this is where I'm supposed to say, how much do you weigh, bro? You know what I mean? Like being very aware that that's like what they say.
Yeah,
100%. I mean? Yeah, no, it's of course any smaller guys would be like, well, if I was his size, I had that. But it's all the same thing. But I think at the end of the day, we can if you want to be unhindered by that, you gotta like not care.
Mm-hmm.
Let them fucking walk around how they want, and if they want to come and get tough with you, then they'll see what the fuck's up. Yeah. Otherwise, let them walk around in their imaginary world. I see this one tennis player over at Barwas who I like. Something in me just wants to smack him. but I gotta like honestly be like, it's all right. Like I hope he has a comment or something. But you know what?
It's okay.
I hope he, you know what I mean. Let him think.
I do wish a motherfucker would.
Yeah,
but
for
it's
sure.
Okay.
I pray a motherfucker would.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's the Jersey Shore in me. Maybe it's the way that it's not one guy. They all come in here rolling like this, and I'm like, like it's like, okay,
All right. Well, how about you got to think about a way you can make this beneficial to you. You'd be like, hey, I'm just like an out of shape guy. Like none of you guys would be able to you guys would all tap me out, right?
Can I learn
what if none of you could tap me out? What if you all had to give me $100?
What if
not one of you, I'll go roll with each one of you.
What if not a single one of you here could take me down? Would that be weird?
Yeah, something like that.
Go in there like Bradley Martin.
Yeah.
But actually like be able to roll a little.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying let's turn what's going on inside you into financially feasible.
Is there any money in sandbagging white belt tournaments?
When you go back to the gym, we're not gonna say what gym it is, but you're gonna go to that gym with a stack of money. Like whoever submits me gets one of these. Anyone who doesn't submit me has to give me one of these. You're gonna have a nice fan of money.
And just like that, Mickey Gall invented professional fighting. Yeah, that's. Speaking of which, my buddy Catfish Cooley is doing the Redneck Brawl. Shout out to Catfish. I told you should come up here and train. The boys can show you a thing or two. I can't show you a thing or two. Catfish Cooley, come up and train. He's doing a Redneck Brawl coming out of retirement, old Catfish. Strong bastard.
Coming out of retirement of what?
Oh, he did it. He
used to do Redneck Brawls?
He used to do a Redneck Brawl or two. Yeah. I mean, those guys. Have you ever seen that stuff? I mean, it's basically
like strongman
no,
competition?
it's basically just
Or tough man? What are those called?
Yeah, yes. Remember back in the day on FX, they would have like those guys. What was it? Was it Tough Man? Those like
I think it's something like that. Like, and they'd sometimes do like
it was on Spike TV
they
back
do
in the
like
day.
but these are things that like people could enter into. The toughest guys, you find out who the toughest guy in town is. You put a pair of boxing gloves on them, and you're gonna do some rounds.
Yeah, that's basically.
And whoever wins it could win like a cash prize. It's not professionals.
Correct.
Yeah. So this one of my favorite boxers ever that nobody knows about is this dude named Vinny Matalone. I think I talked about him before, but I think he found out he was like, I'm pretty good. He was a baseball pitcher, and he found out he's like, I'm pretty good at this fighting thing. And he fought down in Atlantic City. I watched him had this epic fight with Brian Minto. And my grandfather, biggest fucking Yankee fan, right? I got my love for the Yankees from him. And we went down to watch Vinny Matalone. He goes, it's in the 10th round. He's winning the fight. Dropped Minto like twice. In the last round, he gets chinned to sleep.
Ooh.
Out, done, knocked out. My grandpa turned to me and goes, that was worse than if the Red Sox were to come back down 3 games to the Yankees and win it. A couple years later, that shit happened. I know.
Oh, no.
Pop, don't put that in the universe.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin Millar. My old teammate, Kevin Millar.
Yeah.
Talking about even worse, those guys were taking shots of Jack Daniels before the games. They were like,
Who
well,
was?
the Red Sox.
Really?
They were like, well, if we're going to lose anyway, we're going to get
Go
embarrassed.
out with a buzz.
Yeah.
I will not die sober.
Exactly. And they did it the first game. We're like, well, it must be good luck. So not only did they beat the Yankees in 7, they did it toasted.
Come on.
Yeah, 100%. And that Red Sox team was wild, too, man. They ended up winning it all. That's pretty much the end of the Yankee dynasty right there. They had one more blip in 2009, but then nothing since.
You watch any good shows lately?
I watched the Giants Hard Knocks a little bit. There's not much good left on TV, bro. There's just not much good left, man. I do have something funny for you, though. Since I talked shit about dogs earlier, you know I'm a huge dog guy. I'm a massive dog guy.
Yeah.
I love dogs, and I love pit bulls. It sucks that when they get out, they're just such trouble. But I got the funniest medieval dog names for you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You ready? Christian, why don't you go scroll down there and give us the funniest medieval dog names? Yep. These pets, of course, had names, and thanks to a 15th century British manuscript titled The Names of All Manner of Hounds. They used to have such good names for manuscripts back then. The 15th century, of course, as everybody knows, means the 1400s, and in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. We have fascinating insight into what canines were called in the Middle Ages. The unique manuscript, recently examined in an academic paper by researcher David Scott McNabb, contains a list of 1,065 names given to hunting dogs during the period. Here they are. Ready? Goody Nose, number 1. Goody Nosy.
Yeah, I get how you can come up with that.
Goody Nosy. Some of the best medieval dog names are those that reflect classic
And we're going to read
canine characteristics.
165 of them for you right now on Slick and Thick.
Yeah. Finder with a Y. Goody Nose. Finder. Findwell. That's a good dog name. Findwell.
That's straight to the point.
Yep. Feliweda and Plotter.
All right, these aren't so on the nose.
Yep. Let It Go. For the dog who likes a game of tug of war. Let It Go.
These aren't particular breeds. These are just like...
Yeah, these are just the most popular dog names of the times. I guess that that makes a lot of sense if you think about it, because, all the names that we have today are just like observations of what people did for a living.
It's golden and it retrieves.
Aha! Yeah. What's his last name? What's his name? It's John. Oh, there's so many Johns. What's he do for a living? Oh, he's the Smith. Oh, that's John Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, cool, man. What's that guy's name? Oh, he's John. Oh, there's so many Johns. But what's he do for a living? Well, he's a Smith. Well, we already have a John Smith. Oh, but he's the son of that other John Smith. Ah, John Smithson. Got it. Okay. Moving on. Like, this is just how they did things. What's the name of that dog? Smells and shits. What? Yeah, smells and shits and sometimes eats and sleeps. That's a long name.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I love this stuff. I love like the etymology of things. When you really think out of it, like, there are people we know with the last name Hooker.
Somebody
in the Middle Ages was like, who's that?
You sure they weren't a fisherman?
Imagine that. Imagine if they
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, it changed over time. Yeah.
There's a lot of people you met named Hooker. You haven't met a single Hooker son.
Yeah.
They were like,
right?
no,
Yeah.
no, that's not my name.
Nope.
No,
That's not mine.
That's not my name.
my mom.
And not my mama. Yeah, you got. What do you got? You have. There's
I
Hooker.
thought you were gonna come up with some more names like.
That's all they had. I don't know, Chris.
like
Chris, you want to look at the
Shoemaker?
rest? Yeah, there's Schumacher, right?
Yeah.
That's Shoemaker. What else? There's also some town names, right? Like there's people that are like London.
I feel like we've talked about this before, and you've had more examples of it.
Of names?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, neither.
You know.
What was like the McNeil or like the Mick something? Anything with like a Mick in the Irish name?
Mick is son of. Same thing as O. Mick, O, and Mac. Like O'Hara is son of Harrow.
So that's all like Smithson.
Yeah.
Or
Macbeth.
Anything with the son. John's son.
Yeah. John's son.
Yeah.
Macbeth. Like it's just whether you were, Scottish, Irish, Gaelic, just O. O'Hannigan. That type of shit.
It's interesting going back to when you were talking, and I do want to show the people that Tony Robbins clip, but going back to when you were talking about the Rottweiler earlier.
Yeah.
Like we bred dogs away from being wolves because, like, the dogs were kind of like they were kind of maybe they were a little like lazy, and we kind of like made a deal with them like, all right, you can chill by the fire with us. I'm gonna give you some scraps. If something approaches, you better bark, right? So like if there's instead of being like an animal out there hunting and doing like that, getting its own, the ones that would like kind of listen and we'd give them a whap on the nose and they'd put their tail down and follow us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of their role. And it's funny because every dog that barks, you're like, shut the fuck up. Meanwhile, there's probably someone creeping outside by the window.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my dad got his little girl as a dog, and the dog's it's a little thing. It looks like it doesn't even look real. Like it looks like a fake, like a stuffed animal, like a teddy bear. But yeah, it barks all the time. Exactly, and you're like, I want to get mad, but I'm like, that's what you were bred to do. But we bred them away from that, and then we bred them back to fight each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Well, those little dogs were bred like really, really tiny like that.
To go sneak places and get mice?
Yeah, rats. So that they can go be like rat hunters and stuff like that.
Yeah, exterminators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little
Jack Russells and shit.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe something like that. And to help hunt.
Pretty crazy to think like who the first barbarian that like realized like, oh, so if we do the small with the small, we get smaller, and we do the big with the big, we get bigger. Huh.
Yeah, that's how they come up with like cane corsos.
Yeah.
3 of them supposed to take out a lion, dog.
Really? 3 cane corsos?
3 cane corsos. That's what they were bred for. Yeah.
Take out a lion?
Yeah. That was Look it up.
Fuck me, man.
Look
the
that
Romans
up.
had this shit figured out because I want to see that.
Oh, so I know I asked about shows. I brought that up because I started watching John Adams, and also I started listening to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm listening to the Celtic Holocaust when Caesar went into Gaul. And
Vercingetorix.
Yeah, I haven't got to his name yet, but it's Dan's way of setting it all up.
He's great. Him and the other guy, Duncan.
In Gaul.
What do you think of John Adams?
I'm only one
Duncan does the follow room.
one episode in. I thought it was interesting how he defended the British soldier during that, and that was the first shots. That was Chris Pisatix. They showed the one black guy who was dead. Yep. I assume that was Chris Pisatix.
It is,
and,
yeah.
And then so that's what kind of started. He defended those guys.
Yes.
And then he seems very torn in the beginning, where he's like, I'm trying to be a good lawyer and shit, and like I like living here. I want freedom. And like he's got his cousin, the great beer man Sam Adams.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Did he actually brew some beer?
No, but he was like he was well known at the local pubs.
And he's kind of leading the insurrection, like kind of he's trying to like goad all that shit on.
He is a rabble rouser indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed, sir.
And but now at the end of the first episode, it seems like they got Adams, like they made more sanctions and more laws, and after he defended the guy, then they were like, all right, well now this has to be done in Britain, blah blah blah. And he's like, what the fuck? So now he seems like kind of like not like he wants to be this guy, but what's the word of that? Almost
he was
like
a reluctant revolutionary.
Reluctant,
he was a reluctant revolutionary. his whole thing is like, why would we want to leave the British Empire? We got a pretty good thing. A lot of those guys didn't ever want to leave the British Empire. They just wanted to be treated as equals. And the British Empire was like, but you're not. You're colonial scum. You will do what you're told and be thankful for it. And guys like Sam Adams were like, what was that? I didn't hear that last part.
Yeah, right from the beginning, they're like, the kids are, fucking with the British soldiers, like, probably because they hear their parents being like, we're getting taxed and we don't have a representation in Parliament, and so they're like, yeah, fuck you, soldiers. Like,
but also the British soldiers were like, fucking around, man. They were acting like cops. They were an occupying force. They were an occupying force. Yeah. And that was the whole thing. It's like, wait, are we a colony or are we British? Because are we British? Like you got like, and look, don't get it twisted. There was definitely a racial aspect to this. They're like, why are you treating us like we're Indians? We white. Like, what's going on here? We trade with you guys. I got cousins in London. Like, why are you treating me like you're occupying me, man?
So that bringing up Indians, I heard in the Dan Carlin Celtic Holocaust that there was about 600,000 Indians from the East Coast to the West Coast in the whole America, and that 98% of them were killed by disease. 98%.
One, it's impossible to know. Yes, I've heard that stat. It's impossible to know. Two, yes, and then this is one of the things that they say, like the white man is filthy and all these other things, and a lot of it comes from domestication of animals. The Native Americans were nomadic for most of their time, and they didn't domesticate animals. So the diseases that come with the domestication of animals, like we I should say, like people of European descent, we had gone through a couple centuries of plague getting that out of our system. Yeah. So we had those antibodies, but you still have those microbes and you still have those germs and all those other things. And then when you bring it to a new environment where people don't have those antibodies, shit's gonna get fucked up. So yeah, I can see that. I mean, there was a lot of murder too. What happened was a conquering. There's no doubt about it. But what I hate is this idea that like this was some sort of utopia before the evil whitey got here. That
they were fucking each other up.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, whatever. It's people have done that, and then we judge them in today's day and age. In
presentism,
today's
for sure.
Presentism.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think. But also at the same time, we are the grandchildren of the Industrial Revolution, and it seems like a lot of what you're seeing in, whether you want to call it alternative medicine or anti-establishment science, seems to want to return to a more naturalist state. That's something that seems to be, touch grass, get grounded, get sunlight, drink water, like these things that
drink water
that's clean, eat natural food like a pussy, there's a lot of these things that we have been over industrialized in many ways. So you look back at what it can be seen as a simpler and also cleaner time and see it as maybe a missed opportunity, right? And I guess that's what the European progressive really wants, is this intersection of our technological advancements with the naturalistic tendencies of our forefathers,
Right. Yeah, they kind of want a best of both worlds.
Yeah. Which, why can't we have it? Makes sense.
Roll that clip so Jar can see all the good things he's doing for his heart.
Unbelievable. If you use the sauna 4 days a week, they're going to sauna 4 days a week for 18 to 20 minutes at 160, 48% reduction in the ability of a stroke, 52% reduction in heart disease, radical change in people's blood pressure. And this is all science. This is not some airy-fairy person talking about things. But most people just don't know. It's unbelievable. If you use the sauna 4 days a week, they're going to sauna 4 days a week.
We're just going to keep it on loop, Christian? All right. So
make sure that really sinks
I got it
into
the first
people.
time. Yeah, I like Tony Rollins. My only problem is he's constantly citing these stats, and it's just like, what's the do you ever post the study you're quoting here?
Yeah, I heard that the dude Huberman,
yeah.
Huberman, he's a Superman.
Huberman.
The Huberman.
Yeah.
Huberman. Yeah, I heard him talk about the same thing, but I think his is a little A little more intense.
Yeah, Huberman, I seem to think is a little bit more.
You saw they canceled him for getting pussy?
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, he canceled.
Is that exactly how it went down?
Pretty much.
I don't know if that's exactly.
What did
how
you
it went
hear
down.
different?
Old Christian can pull it up. I don't want to.
He was just being a player.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to be telling tales out of school.
He was making these hoes fall in love. And he was like, he was like kind of.
Next.
I got another one too.
Next.
I got another 2, 3, 4 of them.
I'm gonna need you to get out of
Did
here
I forget
about
to
one.
mention that I got a few more? My bad. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. The all this stuff, man. You know, the science behind this stuff. It just. It's impossible to know what's real and what's not anymore. It's the word science has been so co-opted that I think you just kind of you got to live it yourself and then run your own science experiments on your own body. Does it work for you? Does it not work for you?
That's why I love Spartan bee bread. Spartan bee bread has 240 natural minerals that the human body needs, and they're Mason's whole thing about making that conscious living. You know what I mean? That's kind of the combination of what we're talking about. So yeah, there could be a little bit of that hippy dippy foot in the ground stuff, but this is also old shit that fucking King Leonidas was rocking with, and that we're rocking with now. I love that shit. It keeps me healthy as fuck.
I'm pretty sure his name was Leonidas, but because of the movie, he's Leonidas from now on.
His Leonidas?
Leonidas is, I think, the actual.
They didn't even speak English back then, so.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they were speaking English, he'd be Leonidas.
Yeah, well, 100%.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. Well, last things last here. The U.S. men's national soccer team. I'm not a huge soccer guy, but I will say that sports management is sports management. I really believe that crossover for what makes people successful at the highest levels of sport work in all sports. For example, who hired Rick Pitino at the University of Providence, or Providence College back then? Lou Lamoriello, who went on to be one of the greatest NHL GMs of all time. Bill Belichick, the greatest head coach in NFL history, was a lacrosse player in college. Urban Meyer, maybe the greatest or second greatest college football coach of all time, was a professional baseball player. So you don't have to always have one niche in sport.
So I could be a pro football coach?
No doubt about it. I think so.
Subert asked me a couple years ago. He's like, "Can you teach DBs or something?" Because I was like talking to the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, "No."
No? You said no?
I was like, "No." No.
Oh, you can figure it out for sure. Because look, outside of the niche skills, you're teaching life skills and building culture. And that, when I look at the United States men's soccer team, that is what I see is the massive failure here, is what is the culture around. And we have the World Cup coming up in 2 years, and this was such an embarrassing. We didn't even make it out of the group stage in the Copa America.
Soccer isn't sexy in the U.S.
The dry run to the
None of our
World
best
Cup.
athletes are playing it.
I agree with you. But at the same time, what is the American style?
That should be our
There's
team
a
slogan.
German style.
That should be our team slogan.
Yeah, our fifth best athletes are giving you a run for our money.
Yeah, exactly. That should be the slogan. Like, America, we're not even nearly the best.
America, we're barely trying. You should feel ashamed. Yeah, but still, at the same time, shouldn't be losing. We shouldn't be losing to Panama, right? And Uruguay just dominates us. Like I don't want these European guys
beating our country. What were you gonna say?
I don't want these European guys who had an American grandma that they say is American playing for America. They don't care about America. They play like
I'll take them. I want to win.
Well, we're not winning. That's the whole point of the rant.
Oh, we're already using the Europeans?
Yeah.
All right, we need to get some of our young black athletes into soccer. We seriously need that right now.
Yeah. So what we need in America is an American. Everyone wants Jurgen Klopp. We need an American coach that wants to build an American program where we have an American identity, and it's not going to be this European fall on the ground, act like you're hurt shit. It is.
And being tough.
It's being tough. It's being big. It's being strong. Be the type of American team Americans can root for. We don't care if you win because you never win anyway. Give us something to root for.
Yeah, get a little chippy in there. I want 3 red cards a game.
At least.
At least.
Minimum.
Yeah.
I want
I
the referee fucking terrified
Yeah.
to pull that card out. Pull that fucking card out of your pocket.
Yeah.
I swear to God, pull it.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Some bruisers. You want some goons on the
Yeah,
fucking
I want some
soccer
goons. I
field?
want when one of these little fairies goes rolling around on the ground from from the wind, trying to get a call. I want guys standing over them, teabagging them, like, get up, bitch.
Yeah.
Like play American style. And in the post games, they all want to sound European. The coach is like, we just didn't play proper football out there. You're from fucking Maryland. Call it soccer. All right? I want Americans playing soccer. I don't want Europeans cosplaying as Americans playing football. If you keep trying to be them, you will never grow here. You want to grow something here? Build a culture. Invest in 20 years of an American style. They did it in hockey, and now we're a top 3 hockey country in the world. You could do it in soccer, too.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
What would American Jiu-Jitsu be? If
That's already a thing.
what is it?
It's like wrestling. A lot of top control. It's not as like
Passive.
It's more it's a little more it's a little more like aggressive, hard nose jiu-jitsu.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So closer to like sambo.
No, it's jiu-jitsu, but
Yeah.
it's with like high levels like wrestling, where like the great wrestling states like Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Iowa, places like that. Those guys get into jiu-jitsu and embrace it and learn how to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
With that base, know how to dominate people, and all wrestlers are good at
Power doubles, high crotch, all that good
that
stuff.
type
No
of stuff.
pulling guard.
Yeah, and because they, jiu-jitsu people, you can go and you can just be a jiu-jitsu hobbyist and never compete. Wrestlers, you grow up wrestling, you're competing 2 times a week at least. You know what I mean? So you know how to compete and really how to be hard-nosed and go hard. And I think wrestlers who can fall in love with jiu-jitsu can be
Tough.
real good.
Tough. You're learning how to.
Because you learn how to control, dominate a person, and now you're learning how to finish them, how to use different type of manipulations, less rules.
Who would be a guy we can look at, like Bo Nickel, that kind of a guy we can look at here? Who would be a guy that kind of embraces this mentality you're talking about?
I feel like Jake Shields might have kind of coined the American Jiu-Jitsu term, and that's with a lot of guys who in that in that New York City Renzo Gracie blue basement. There's a lot of that where you combine in wrestling and MMA as well, because you want to be on top. You don't want to be on the bottom. And in a fight, the way the Gracies created it was, you want to be on top. Like jiu-jitsu is simple. Now they got a lot of different things, like rolling around and doing all this under stuff and grabbing the gi and making it more of a game in competition, where both guys will sit to their butts and they're playing this point game. No, you should be trying to get on top of the guy, because even though we're taking out strikes, you want to think about it as if you have them.
But for competition at 10th Planet, they've kind of really figured it out, right? Like you can't take their back, you can't take them down. They figured out ways to basically eliminate getting the points against them.
10th Planet they have another funky style, but there's a lot of different other funky styles. I don't know who is in the forefront of the funkiness. The 10th Planet style is they kind of named a lot of positions that weren't named. They kind of developed.
So they didn't actually
developed a
they didn't invent
nomenclature.
those things. They were already being done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were kind of there's certain things they would use and they would focus on and made a bigger part of their system.
Yeah. Better branding. Instead of something called a go-go plata, it's called a vaporizer.
Yeah, shit kind of like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, where people could the rubber guard pull down on that leg, and trap the arm and pull down that leg to try and work, but the idea of jiu-jitsu, if you're on your back, is you want to break their posture where you can, they're going to be weaker. So that's, if you break their posture, you're already in a good spot.
Interesting. Very interesting. You talk about Renzo Gracie, man. I love his Instagram. He shows these techniques, and they're the simplest techniques in the world. But it's
Simple's the best, man.
It makes so much sense. You're like, how come I never thought of this?
Simple's the best.
He just did one the other day where he was showing people how to break a leg lock setup, and he was like, I don't understand. I see everybody do all these things, and he's just just push the knee across the hip. Now he can't do anything.
Yeah.
Just bring the knee.
Yeah, clear the knee.
And I'm like, what the? That's so easy. He's like, go ahead, try to move. And he literally just took the guy's knee across his hip, and I was like,
Yeah.
no, just
Henzo
step
would be
out
a
and
good
around.
guest on the podcast.
Oh man, I would love that. That would be
Yeah.
great. But so the idea behind then the quote unquote American Jiu-Jitsu is that going to become like the next basis?
And you know what's interesting
for
about
MMA?
that? One of the Gracies, I think he might have died in like a paragliding thing. Look that up real quick. Which one of the Gracies died? It's like something that begins with an R. But he was kind of embracing the wrestling back then, and had he not passed, I think there would be more of a wrestling influence in it. In
Really?
a lot of styles, yeah. Well, what's his name? I think he died.
I think
in
it's Ryan or Ryan Grace.
No. Hyan Gracie's, that's the Gracie badass. Hyan Gracie's Henzo's brother. He was like he's riding motorcycles. He's getting into fights on the beach. People were shooting at him. He was like aggro and like,
It says he died in jail.
yeah.
Holy shit!
Hyan did.
Yeah.
I'm actually good friends with his son Hiron. He's a legend. He's like a bad motherfucker.
Really?
Hyan Gracie, yeah, he's a badass, bro. He was like wild, really exciting fighter. But it's
Hoxton Gracie.
I think it's Hoxton.
Yeah.
I think Hoxton. Yeah, there's stuff with him with like the wrestling headgear on, and like he was like embracing, that side and learning that style. But he died young, and I think that's but I think with MMA that American Jiu-Jitsu style is is incorporating that wrestling kind of to his image.
All right. Well, take us out,
Well,
Mick.
now you have it, guys.
There you go.
This has been Slick and Thick. I'm Mickey Gall. That's Gerard motherfucking Michaels, and we'll see you soon.
Go to TeleRx.